Bill Freeman.
Yep.
He comes into the Bay one day and he goes, "Dude, we're at this, whatever meetings they go to, and you had just gotten up and you were talking about how dealers need to do more social media and all this other crap." Yeah. And we're, of course, streaming at the time while you're giving this conversation. Bill goes, "Hey, these are my guys." It shows us to you. So he's telling me about them. I'm like, "Who did you show it to?" "It was Bill Jackson." And I go, "Who's Bill Jackson?"
Yeah.
And he goes, the boss. And I go, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking on social media presence
For a long time.
Yeah, several
for a
years now,
long time.
trying to get dealers to like really embrace it and the value. And I mean, you've been praising that for quite a while.
Well, those are the classes we teach when we're at Knowledge Fest. Is we have two classes that we teach. One is called the Digital Business Card, which is where we take them through how to go from snapshots to actually creating video and how simple it is, and we give them a basic formula on how to just make a simple video.
Right.
You only need like 20 or 30 of them and you're done.
Yeah.
You know, you can update it every now and then, but you really don't have to constantly. Basically, we tell people to do the exact opposite of what we do, because we took it from the really hard approach. And
Yeah,
we do way
we
too
do
much.
totally different thing.
Yeah.
So.
You know, it's like,
I think I love what you guys are doing, but I'll tell you from a manufacturer's side, it's really easy to get locked into doing great products and being super focused on performance and ID and cosmetics. But Rockford's also focused on making our retailers better. And I think that's one thing that people forget sometimes. In some ways, it's easy to be a manufacturer and do your shit and put your little bit of money in your marketing and come out with the product and stuff, but you really need your channel to be strong. You need your partners to be strong. And we're always wanting to push the envelope and give guys as many tools as we can, try to help them in as many ways as we can to be better business people, be able to market their brands better, be able to make more money, get more margin out of the stuff they're selling. I mean, you need to have that piece of your business healthy,
right?
Because then it makes all this other shit possible. Right?
And it's funny that you say that, because with all the research we've been doing over the last couple of weeks, that is the one thing that just sticks out of everything. It's like Rockford wants you to be better at what you're doing, to make more money, to make more customers, and they're going to try to give you all the tools you need to do it. And it's working, because I that message was like, we spend 9 hours a day together 6 days a week, so we cover a lot of topics, and it was like that's what we talked about.
When you guys start doing the RTTI trainings and everything
recently
online, no, that was when I started working with you.
Oh yeah. For the backpack.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
I took all the trainings and I was just going, and they give you your certificate that you finish, and I have saved it in my phone. I'm like, I finished this one, I finished this one, I finished this one.
Okay, what was
and
my
that was
complaint? Do you remember what my complaint was after watching all those?
It's the same track on all the videos. Same background track. Did you change the music up a little bit? Fucking boring.
So now, something about Dean, he just random stuff, like you are watching the interview and everything, and he's talking about the background noise, and I'm like, dude, he was talking about different. No, but just wait, hear about this, like the sound and everything. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're like, yeah. That's
Sorry, I get bored easy.
You guys are on a great roll. You should just go ahead and introduce and just start going.
Thank you for tuning in today. Today we have a special guest, and we're in their studios. You can guess from the wall behind us. We're at Rockford Fosgate, and we have the one, the only, the man in charge, Mr. Bill Jackson. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for visiting us. Much appreciated.
Oh no, it's wonderful. Now, I gave you quite an intro there, but what is your actual official title?
President and CEO.
There you go. Two simple words that make things wonderful. So the buck stops with you.
Yeah, you could say that.
But you have a great staff beneath you, so by the time the buck gets to you, it's the buck you want.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things Rockford has, is it's got a great team of people. It isn't just about me. We were talking before this meeting about, you're not out there trying to be famous. That's not who I am. I want to run a good business. I want to empower my team, give them opportunities to be great, have great products, help my retailers, help my partners.
Now, just a side note there, we will be taking a look at some of those team members later on, not in this particular show, but we're going to have multiple videos while we're here at Rockford. So stay tuned for that. you'll get to meet some of these gentlemen that he's talking about.
Well, who's behind the product actually? Like who's working in the product, who is working in the computers in development, hands-on on that product. So you guys gonna see that later on.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Anytime we do an interview with somebody, we like to kind of get a feel for why they're in audio. What is your first experience in either audio or car audio? I know you're gonna have to hit the Wayback Machine, but
Yeah, we're gonna go on the Wayback Machine. So I've been in this industry since 1980. I started as a retailer working at a shop that's now out of business called the Audio Room in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Started as a single store. I think we ended up with 3 stores plus an install bay when I left.
just one bay?
Completely separate install facility.
Oh, wow,
Did
okay.
Multiple bays in that program. But I did that for 12 years through my college years, and I think my parents wanted to kick my ass when I said I wanted to stay in the audio business as opposed to going on and doing some things in the business world. You know?
That's not a great
I have
idea.
a similar story.
My dad, when he was alive, kind of scratched his head and goes, "What are you doing?" And then right before he passed away, he got it. He kind of understood what the method behind the madness was. But I did that for 12 years. I then got into the rep business for a couple years. Had my own business with a gentleman named Tim Childers called Promar back in the Iowa, Nebraska, Missouri, Kansas territory. So Tim and I did that for a period of time. And then Rockford recruited me to come out and be a sales manager here. And so that
Nice.
was at the end of 1995.
Let me interrupt you there.
Yeah. And I'm going to go back and answer your questions on cars.
Oh, no,
and
that's
music,
cool.
all that
Oh no,
piece.
trust me,
It's all connected.
they'll get to me if
connected.
I don't. But when Rockford tapped you to come work here,
Yep.
was that kind of like one of those like oh my gosh moments, or was it like yeah I'm doing my stuff and they recognize me?
So I was a Rockford dealer back in the day in that 1980 period, and Rockford was really starting to emerge. That's really when Fosgate kicked off was that time frame, and we were growing with the brand as a retailer. I was passionate. I knew the people that worked at the factory, and I was an enthusiast. Right when the knock came, I paid attention to it. My rep business was actually doing pretty well. I basically lived off my wife's income for a year as I started up my rep business because we did it from ground up, from nothing, and we were finally at a point where we were both making a living and paying our expenses. And it was kind of one of those times. It's like, do I want to move out of the Midwest and stop shoveling snow and come to Phoenix?
It's not a hard decision.
Right. So, and I'm like, listen, brother, my snow shoveling days are over with, right? I'm not a big cold weather guy anymore. My wife and I took the chance and popped out here, and it was a good call.
So let's get
Now
back.
let's go back to the car stuff.
Yes, go back to the car stuff.
So when I was in high school, and again, this dates me, I graduated in 79, right? So I had a car audio system, and I had an old Fosgate PR250. So it was a 50 watt by 2 amplifier, right? One of those that had the little separate preamp controller.
Wow.
I had a pair of ADS L200 speakers, the little box speakers,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
a 4-inch driver and a tweeter. You guys know what those
oh
are.
yeah.
And I had a single JBL 8-inch woofer in the back of my car with caps and coils, and I was the shit.
I bet.
I mean,
Oh, yeah,
it
there's
was
no doubt
super.
about it.
It was super cool. It played loud. It sounded good, and nobody had it. Everybody had 6x9s and all this stuff, and I
you
had
came
separates
out
and
with-
an amp, and I started out with a Pioneer cassette deck, the underdash preamp only cassette deck, and then I moved up to a Nakamichi 250,
Wow.
the little portable cassette deck that I had in the console of my K5 Blazer.
Okay.
And that was my system. That's
Now-
where it started.
Did you guys have a dealer in your town that you were able to buy that stuff from?
At the audio room where I eventually went to work.
He just went into the stock room and is like, I'm gonna take this one.
Well, I mean, it's funny because that's who I went to work for was my guy that I was buying stuff from. So
Yeah.
it was like when I had the opportunity to go there, it was like, yes.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about systems real quick, do you have a favorite system that you've built in your car over the years? I mean, it could be the one you have now. It doesn't matter. Because nostalgia is one thing, but reality is we build much better stuff now.
Lord, I've had so many systems in cars.
I know.
I can imagine.
I had a big system in a CLS Mercedes, AMG Mercedes. It had 410s in it and a bunch of Power Series product that was pretty killer. My Dodge truck that I just sold had some power stuff in that, all integrated into the factory radio. Killer. Sounded great. I always
So-
have stuff in all my cars.
Yeah,
You
it's
know.
kind of the perks of the job.
Yeah, but I'm an enthusiast. I think, and you're
So
gonna
at the end of the day, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I mean, and I love cars, right? I'm a big automotive guy. I'm a big motorcycle guy, and I've had them for all my life. I'm, probably pissed away more money than I should have on them, but I'm passionate about them, and I love having music in them. I love that lifestyle, and that's what you guys are going to find when you're here. Is you walk around and you talk to people. They're authentic people. They're authentic car audio people. They're not some business degree cat that's in here engineer or some, crazy design guy. I mean, these are very enthusiastic, passionate people that have the product in their car and they live that lifestyle.
You're jumping ahead for me on one of the questions I was going to ask you, but I kind of want to go into that.
Hang on.
Okay.
I just want to say, that's a good thing about the industry of car audio, motorcycle, and everything.
Yeah.
You are the CEO, you are the head of everything, and you still have that passion of the car audio. Sometimes when you become the top guy, you forgot that kind of thing, and you just focus in business and making that money and everything. Of course, it's always important, but having that passion still
100%.
with your dealers, with old employees and everything is what makes the industry grow and everything.
I mean, I care about how things sound in a car. I'm an enthusiast. I want the thing to play loud. I have a certain style of things I like to listen to. I like to listen to my music loud in the car.
No way.
I want it to be dynamic as hell. I mean, that's what I like, right?
Yeah.
And so
Where I was going is it follows up to this question we came up with. Rockford has been a juggernaut in the industry for years. I mean,
long time.
Long time. What would you say is the thing responsible for Rockford's success? I mean, you don't have to pick just one, but if you had to kind of give like an overview of what has made you guys...
People.
Which is where you're kind of leading that.
People. I mean, just passionate, like-minded folks. And again, I can't, as you will see when you walk through here and talk to people, there's no script. We didn't have to sit down with anybody and say, oh, you can only say this or you can't talk about that. For God's sakes, don't do this, right? You're going to get the authentic thing. And I think when you're done, you'll probably stop by my office and go, yeah, you were right, because that's what you're going to get. Very passionate people, authentic people.
Well, the few that we've met so far, I would probably say you're going to be right 100%.
Well, I mean, the first time I met Eric, you feel that passion right away.
For sure.
Like, as soon as you start talking with people and everything, you feel that they love what they do. And when you have that connection, it's like,
and they're good.
This is really cool. Yeah.
And I think the funny thing with Eric is...
By the way, just in case you're wondering, Eric is sitting out of frame, so he's here when we're talking about him behind his back.
Likes that. But the funny thing, I could start a topic and he could finish it.
Well, it's good.
Yeah.
Which is, and vice versa, right? That's the truth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
See, my first experience with Eric was, I can't talk to you about that.
Of course. It's like,
pick a different
you
topic.
ask too much. Dude. Stop asking.
You said earlier motorcycles.
Yep.
You've been doing motorcycles for years.
Yep.
Did your passion for motorcycles have anything to do with the success and basically owning the motorcycle space like you guys do?
Some.
I mean, I don't want to
it's
feel
okay.
like you're the only guy on top, but I mean...
No.
Yeah.
I think for sure some. Again, it comes back to being authentic, right? So I've been a rider for a long time. I got my first Harley when I was in 1994. When you ride and you try to listen to audio on it, it's kind of a clusterfuck, to be honest with you. It sucks, right? It's really hard to listen to audio at any quality level or even be able to understand the radio, for example, or what the lyrics are in a song. When you're ripping at 75 with a big exhaust system and, a half helmet or a full helmet, and you're like, what am I doing? And I think what we learned is we were marketing into the motorcycle space with car audio products. And car audio products are not ideal, right, for the motorcycle. It's a completely different environment. They have to do different things. It isn't just about sitting in the parking lot and sounding good. It's about ripping at 75 miles an hour with all this other stuff going on and being able to hear the music, right? I'll tell you a story. I was at the Cardinal Stadium. It was right after IBEX, the boat show. I rode my bike up there, and we had a show. And I had 4 6x9s in the bags, and big amp, and radio, and speakers up in the fairing, and it just sounded like 2 buckets of shit. I mean, it just didn't play loud enough. And I'm being very candid, right?
No, man.
So does everybody else's stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I just thought, God, it's got to be better than this. And I drove home. It's like 11 o'clock at night. Not a lot of traffic on the interstate, and I'm ripping pretty good. And I thought, I don't even know what song's playing. Now I'm almost wide open on this thing, and I'm like, I can't even hear the song. So I get back, and one of our engineers is a writer, Dave Baker, and some of the guys in product development. And I said, why don't you guys go ride my motorcycle? See if you can hear it. Like, dude, it sounds great. I said, no, it doesn't. Go ride it. So we started putting butts in the seat, and people getting out and riding. They're like, ooh, that's going to have to change. A whole bunch of the product engineers went out and got their motorcycle license so they could get on bikes and go ride them and find out really what mattered to the consumer that was riding that bike. Because as a factory, like, oh yeah, we're going to get in the car audio business. I'm going to have this big ass 6x9 and the bag lid that weights too much. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to get out and listen to it and see what is the correct solution for that application? And that's really how the purpose-built program in the motorcycle thing got launched. They came up with the products, but I was
stoked the fire.
I was an enthusiast, right? And I looked at it purely from a writer's standpoint. This sucks, and it's a lot of money.
And people care about those, you know? Like,
True.
now, let me ask you this. Now we talk about the caring about motorcycles.
Yep.
What would you wish a motorcycle to have, like back in the day, or now that you have right now? I don't know if you have one already, and that was the dream motorcycle. I have it, or never bought it, but
I think it's, I'm going to phrase this carefully. There's a lot of crazy builds, as there's crazy builds in the SPL world today.
Mm-hmm.
You can spend hundreds of thousands of dollars building big, badass
We were
SPL
just at
vehicles.
Slam Fest over the weekend.
And I love it. I think it's super cool. There's clearly a niche on that. You can do the same with a motorcycle. You can fiberglass out the bags and extend them and put big woofers in and lots of weight and multiple batteries and big power and try to get the thing play loud. But it isn't, to me, it's not about that. It's about a combination of maintaining rider dynamics. It's about having something that's reliable, that's going to work, that Harley's not going to void your warranty on. I mean, that bike is $50,000. Right?
Oh, yeah.
It's sitting there, right? And that's with nothing done to it. In my perfect world, it's about maintaining that. It's maintaining rideability, making sure it plays loud, it's audible, sounds good.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And now that you talk about dynamics, you guys actually make it work. The dynamics of the motorcycle, the speed, going super fast and still able to listen.
Yes.
Clear,
100%.
nice. I mean, that's amazing.
That's how it's supposed to work, right? So, and I think there's levels of that you can go to. I mean, we just launched the subwoofer kit at Sturgis. It was an absolute home run, and I think you're going to see our product roadmap's pretty extensive in what we're doing both at the OE side and the aftermarket. But just keep pushing that envelope, better sound, more output, making sure stuff's reliable. I mean, that is such an abusive environment.
It rains.
It does a lot of stuff, right? I mean, it vibrates and it rains and it's dust and it's heat and it's gnarly.
Well, going from a great success that motorcycles has been for you, was there ever a product you went into with low expectations that just turned out to just blow you away? Totally flipped on you. You were kind of like, everybody wanted to do it, and you were just like, ugh.
When I tell you what it is, you'll be surprised because it's one of the most successful categories we have. I was not a side-by-side person. I had never, owned a Razor or a Can-Am product. I was a car guy, right, and a motorcycle guy. And when the product team came and said, Jake says, we need to do this and side-by-sides, I'm like, so I need more data. I need more data. I mean, how many of these things are being sold out there, and where are they being sold, and who's buying them? And you're just trying to build your repertoire up. And I guess in the back of my mind, I didn't know because I didn't know. One of the things is, you have to trust people, and you trust them for their ability to look forward and to look at categories that are potentially risky but have some upside. And I think that's one of the things we do is, we give people the ability to do that and to run, and they did, and it turned out to be a wildly successful category. Incredible. I never would have bet that. They were right. They were right. At the end of the day, they were right.
There you go. You were right.
And they were right. And that's okay. But I think sometimes when you sit in the chair, you have to you trust your people. That's why they're there. You trust them. You empower them, and you let them go and make it happen. And that was one I never would have bet it. But I'm really glad the guys did it because it's been a home run.
And the good thing is that you just say that, trust the people, right?
Yep.
You have people behind you, you in charge of this, you in charge of that, and in the end of the day, everything comes together as a group, right?
It works.
As a team.
Yep, it's a good team.
Now, in those categories, both motorcycle, side-by-side, marine, I see a common theme in that they come with their own enclosures.
Yep.
I'm not going to say plug and play, but integration friendly. Is that by design?
100%.
Did you guys design that all here?
Yes. Everything you're going to see in every product that sits in that portfolio is engineered and designed here. Now, it's made through contract manufacturers overseas, whether it's in China or Vietnam or Malaysia or Thailand. That's where the manufacturing is.
How many people do you guys have here?
108, 110, kind of fluctuates in that neighborhood. It's a pretty small team. It's very
That's small.
Yeah. I view it as small. I mean, it's very heavily weighted with engineering and product development people. That's probably our biggest department, and then that's followed closely by marketing. I mean, marketing's a big arm. You guys know all the things we do from a marketing standpoint. We've talked about some of it.
Never seen it. Never seen it at all.
So those are really the two big pieces. We have a really efficient finance and IT and sales arm that plugs into that. And something we talked about before we jumped into the official part of this is the tenure of people here. We have a lot of staff here that's been here 25 years. We have a ton of staff that's been here 15. I mean, that's pretty unheard of almost in any business to have employees with that type of tenure here.
Speaking of time and the amount of time you've been here, you weren't hired as the CEO president. How did you get started?
I wasn't. I actually came out here in 1995, in November 1995, to be a regional sales manager for Rockford. And it was a little territory on the East Coast, and that lasted about 30 days. And we went to CES at that time.
Ooh.
And they moved my territory to the West Coast. So I had Pac Northwest, California, Rocky Mountains, Arizona, New Mexico, that piece of the pie. And that's kind of how I got rolling as a regional sales manager. Rockford was growing through acquisitions and as a business in that late 90s, early 2000 timeframe.
I remember all of that.
We acquired a company called Lightning Audio. You probably remember some of that stuff.
Sexy.
Had some fun stuff in there. That was such a cool brand. And
Dude, the toxic waste logo on that was just like,
I know.
It blew people away. And
So
the
crazy.
expandability for it was just...
So much fun. That was a blast to be involved with that product line and those people. But I did that for a period of time. In 2003, I believe, I came over as VP of Sales and Marketing to the corporate side to Rockford and the whole portfolio of brands. Then the company went through a reorganization period. We had acquired a ton of companies back in those days. So it was a different management team. And long story short, I became president in 2006, and I think CEO in 2009 and 2010 somewhere. So yeah, it's been a great run. 15 years, it's been terrific.
It's always been that goal, like be the CEO.
Yeah, I think some of it is some of it's luck, some of it's just opportunity, right place, right time, having the right skill set. I kind of look at my background, and I use my background as a tool for myself. I understand the retail business. I was involved in it for 12 years. I understand the rep business. That's my short tenure. And then I've been on the management side at Rockford for a long time. So I kind of know where the games are, right? And how to play them, right? I mean, you know when people are working you, right? Or
This ain't your first rodeo.
It's not my first rodeo. But I have a good balance. And I do try to always think about the retailers because I need them to be successful. I want to be a really good partner to them. I understand they need to make money. They need to have compelling products. They need to have things that work and provide solutions for their customers. They need a good marketing partner, somebody that gives a shit about their success too, right? And I also realize that I don't sit here without a good retail base. I just don't. I don't have OEM customers if I don't have good retailers, right? So you have to have that balance. And I think understanding that and have lived that from experience is, as a retailer, you know how important it is to have the right partners.
Oh, yeah.
Now talk about partnerships and everything. You guys have huge partnerships, not just with Harley, side by side.
With Polaris, yeah.
Polaris, yeah. That was just.
It's been really good to have those guys as, I'll call them, strategic partners. I mean, of course, the OEM business is important. To have a marketing partner that puts your brand, I mean, our brand sits on that. There's a motorcycle in this other room that sits on that motorcycle. I mean, the audio system is branded Rockford Fosgate on that bike. I mean, and it's seen by thousands and thousands of people. When they launched the 2021 bikes, you could see the hundreds of thousands of impressions that thing is making in the first 5 or 6 hours that it went live. Well, our brand was part of that. And we literally went into the field post the launch of that bike, and retailers were like, man, we got people walking in saying, hey, that's the Rockford stuff? Is that Rockford that's on the OE bikes? And we're like, yeah. They said, well, is this stuff good? Because I have an older bike. They said it just made it so simple to transition into sell those solutions.
I mean, we like that.
Yeah, and look, that's something I think that matters. I mean, one of the things we have to continue to do is expand our brand recognition out there. Because you don't want to keep it in a box where you're just thinking about the same 15 people that go to the car audio contests on the weekend. You want to try to expand it out so more people recognize you as a performance enthusiast, a performance leader, a solution-based piece, because they all have other things, right? I mean, we've talked a little bit about motorcycle, we talked about side-by-side, we talked about marine, we talked about car. There's an ecosystem that sits within there, and it all plugs together. Right?
Well, I mean, part of our motivation for starting our show was to sidestep and just get directly to the consumer so that they would be informed to then come back to the
Yep.
retailer, because most manufacturers aren't really putting the effort forward. They leave it to the dealer to put the effort forward into the public so that you learn about it.
Yep.
And that, to me, is like kind of that 80s, 90s thought process when we had a magazine or we had the beginning of the internet where you could do banner ads and stuff, and that just doesn't work today.
You're right.
And companies like yourself that are going out there to Sturgis and to these off-roading events and just mixing up with the people.
I mean, you really have to listen to what customers are doing. You have to, where are they going? Why are they going there? What are they doing once they get there? Where are they spending their money? What are all these little adjacent things in their lifestyle that they're doing? You have to pay attention to that stuff. And if not, your marketing message that I provide you to go to the market is a waste. Because if it's dialed in and we're right, it works because it resonates with those people. If it's some half-assed thing that I think was right and we did no research, it's going to fail. It's a waste of money. So we really try to focus on that content and get good information, again, to make you successful.
Speaking of successful,
Yep.
what do you think is the greatest accomplishment that you had here working in Rockford?
Back to the people comment, hiring the right staff. I mean, I look back at some of the people that are here today that sit on the exec team. I mean, I hired them at Lightning Audio, and they're here and they're in leadership positions, and I love watching people do well. I like them to see them achieve goals they didn't think they necessarily could achieve, both financially, but also being able to do things. It's really cool to see.
Just like the side-by-side conversation, right?
It's just
like,
people are just have done such a tremendous job. I probably sound like a broken record because I'm pretty consistent about that, but I've been blessed with a really good team, and I trust them implicitly, and they work their butts off, and they like to win, and we're of common mind, and we like to make money, and we like to see our partners do well. I mean, I want to see you guys kick ass and sell more stuff and make more dough. I mean, that's a good thing, right?
Let's take it back to the beginning where
Yeah.
Rockford Fosgate basically started. Let's talk about some car audio.
Yep.
Car audio is becoming more and more challenging. It seems to be, it's not getting any easier.
That's for sure.
Where do you kind of see the future of car audio? You guys now work with iData and have the DSR1.
Yep.
Which to me is one of the best integration pieces out there to make our lives easier.
Yep.
very affordable.
Well, yeah.
I'm just gonna
There's
say
that.
for what it does and everything.
It's awesome for the money.
It is.
Yeah.
It's like
Wow.
And I have to just a side note on DSR. When we did that project with Mark and with Frank at iData and with our own team, we wanted it to be an affordable product that did both the lockpick side, but also did the ability to DSP tune the system. And we didn't want it to be a $799 product or an $899 product because, again, it's a gateway into that automobile. And as you guys know, those cars are so complex and some of them are such pains in the butt to work on. We wanted to try to have a product that was affordable. The customer wasn't going to pass out when he realized he had to buy it, make it simple to set up.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the gateway is to sell amps and speakers and subs and labor and accessories and
All the other good stuff.
Where the heavy margin is, right?
Yeah. So where do you see the 12 volt heading?
Let's talk about that. I'm probably going to go in a little bit of a circle here, but 12 volt car today, people think, well, it's a guy that has the new M3 or the new M5, or he's got the new Lexus, or he's got the new Audi, or he has the new Tahoe. That's the customer. That's the guy buying the new car. He's bringing it in the dealer and you're ripping it all apart and you're putting all this shit back in it. That isn't what the car audio business is. I mean, there's some of that. You have some of the crazies out there that do that, but it's like that much of your business, right? It is an aging car park. It is older cars that are out there that people are putting systems in, replacing products in. It's the Jeep market. It's the truck market, whether it's F-150 or Ram or Silverado, whatever it is. That's a huge space for products. And
Yeah.
And it's a highly modified vehicles. They're enthusiast platforms. And now you're starting to see the dots connect with side-by-side and with motorcycle and with marine. It's enthusiast-based platforms. I kind of come back to, we're always going to be high-performance oriented. I mean, I love big car stuff. I have big car stuff. We all have it in our cars. It's great. And we're going to always continue to play in that. I mean, we do sell 19-inch woofers. We sell lots of 2500 amplifiers. But that isn't our business, right? It's not. So Yeah. So where do we see it going? Just go back to the success we've had with offering solution-based products. Most people put a better system in their car because when they have is broken, or they want it to have more bass, they want it to play louder, they want it to sound better.
Sound better.
You know, that's
Yeah.
what they want, right? They want to grab the go button and hit it and go and have it sound great and play loud and do all the things, get the attention they want or whatever their motivation is, right? We're going to continue to take the success we've had in our other categories, whether it's motorcycle or side-by-side, and continue to push that down to the car path. Again, making it simple for customers to integrate products, right? Gateway products like DSR and the ability to connect into the architecture of cars that's out there today. Have that performance level that people are looking for. Have it reliable. I mean, the last thing you and I want, the last thing you want as a retailer is you put something in a guy's car and he gets down the street and you see the brake lights and he's coming back.
I like fire and forget.
Right? I mean, you want that guy as like an advocate out there telling everybody how badass his system is he got from you. Like, I got the shit from 5-star and this stuff it's awesome. I mean, that's what you're after, right?
Oh yeah.
That's what you're after. And that's what we want to provide you is that solution-based product. Every time you put it in, it does exactly what it's supposed to do. You know what to expect from an install standpoint. And it works. It just works. I think that's the future of car. Are we going to sell 19-inch woofers and do big stuff? For sure. There's some of that out there, but it's really trying to get some of these other categories of 4x4 trucks, Jeeps involved in that same type of solution.
I could see that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, we've taken up plenty of your time today.
Plenty.
Is there anything? We'll tell you later. Is there anything that we may have forgotten to ask you, or anything you'd like to get off, you'd like to mention before we wrap this up?
I don't think so. Pretty candid with you guys. I appreciate you coming out for sure. I know
we appreciate you answering our questions.
I think you're going to have a really good time going through the company and chatting with people. And I'll call it peeling the onion back a little bit. And I'll be curious at the end of it. I want you to come by my office and see if I was right about kind of being a consistent message.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we definitely have to say thank you and bye. Yeah,
my pleasure. It's really good to see you guys.
We'd like to end it there, guys. Thank you so much for going on this journey with Mr. Bill Jackson, President and CEO of Rockford Fosgate. Fernando.
On to the next one, guys.
You guys have a great night as always. Thank you so much.
You bet. My pleasure. Thank you, gentlemen.
We'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Like a deposition or something, huh?
No, it's nothing cool like that.
My legal counsel.